Tonight, we are joined by special guests from Bottle to Barrel, Rob and Eric on the podcast. Thanks so much for joining us, guys.
Well, let's do that again from barrel to bottle.
What did I say?
Bottle.
Close enough. I
It
mean,
was
people
good.
people know. Yeah.
It was a good intro, but you gotta get it right.
Hey, welcome to Super Social Club. I'm Jeremy.
It's Whisky in the Six, I'm Rob.
Welcome to the Whiskey Rant podcast.
It's a little crusty,
It's frustrating.
and it's going to be a little bit of a rant.
I don't understand it. I don't know why.
Some sort of injustice.
Anyway, end rant.
Hello and welcome back to the Whiskey Rant podcast. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Rob.
And tonight, joining us from Barrel to Bottle, Rob and Eric. Thanks so much for joining us on the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having us on. It's good to connect with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, this is a long time coming. We've spoken many times over the years. We had a chance to meet one of the members from Barrel to Bottle, Brad, at the 80-year-old release of the Gordon MacPhail Glenlivet,
Yes.
but never got to meet you two in person.
Yeah.
Probably lived a little vicariously through you guys over the last few years with all the cool trips you guys have done and that sort of thing. But really nice to have you guys on. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. So you guys take pictures, like the best pictures of Scotch whiskey that you can possibly find on the internet.
100%.
I feel like there's this meme that comes to mind, and it's like it says people my age, and it's this really excited dad, and he's taking a picture of his newborn baby, and then on the other tile it says me, and it's the same happy dad, but it's just a bottle of whiskey in front of him. Does that sum up exactly what you guys do? Like, do you guys care about babies at all? Because I'm exactly that meme where I'm taking pictures of my scotch. I don't care about children.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's pretty much that. That's pretty much what it is. Like, it's a very difficult job to try to explain to anyone else because it's very confusing what we do. You know, my daughter, who's like 7 years old, she asked me one day. She said, "What's your job?" And I said, "Well, I take pictures. I take pictures." And she's like, "Oh, like a whiskey?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, that and a few other things." And she thinks about it for a second. She looks at me and she says, "That's not a real job." I'm like, "Yeah, you know what? Fair enough. Fair enough." So that's what we do.
That's awesome. So your 7-year-old daughter is calling you out about not having a real job, but
Pretty much, yeah.
From the people in the industry looking in, you guys have a pretty cool setup as far as what we can see. How did that all start for you guys? What did you guys know each other before all of this? How did that start?
Yeah, you know what? It started off like probably about 8 years ago. I've been a photographer for quite a while, like professional photographer for maybe like going on 12, 15 years now. And I got actually hired by a company to do a campaign for the Macallan like eight years ago out of nowhere. And at the time, I was a whiskey fan. I'd been to Scotland. I was sharing whiskey and my passion for whiskey with my friends. I'd never posted or never taken any photos of whiskey. It never even crossed my mind, to grab a bottle of scotch and take some photos of it and try to put it on the internet. And so when this agency reached out, and it was a Canadian agency, I said, "Hey, would you ever be interested in taking a bottle of Macallan out on an adventure in the Rockies with you, take some photos, share it with some friends?" And I'm like, that sounds incredible. That sounds like the best job ever. So I said I would love to do that. And so they sent me a couple bottles of double cask 12 and said, "Go, have at her." And we hiked out to this place in the Rockies called Mount Assiniboine, and we spent 4 days just exploring some of the most incredible viewpoints that I'd ever seen. Incredible sunsets over these beautiful lakes in the fall. It was perfect for Scotch. And out there, I made my buddies actually haul these bottles around for 3 days before I'd let them crack into them and open them and enjoy them because I wanted to get the shots. And so we'd be at the top of this mountain. Finally, on the third day there, we cracked it. We shared that bottle at a sunset, took some photos, and I came home and posted those. And I started to notice all these accounts, probably from different whiskey enthusiast accounts kind of around the world that started to engage with some of that content. I was at a time when Instagram was really popping off and a lot of people were on there. And I was seeing accounts like, Whiskey with a View and I don't know, maybe you guys, just people that were like, "Whoa, that's a great shot. That's really cool." It was something that I hadn't seen a lot of before. And I started just thinking about it and looking into some of those accounts and seeing a real opportunity to combine some of my passions for great photography, storytelling, and whiskey together. And so I'd met Rob, I'd met Brad, Victor, and kind of had a meeting of the minds, and we all kind of hung out and just said, "Hey, I got this idea for this new account. We had just had a baby in our family, so my daughter was just born at the time, and my wife thought I was actually insane. So you're starting another Instagram account to try to do this." And I said, yeah, I think it's got some legs. It's going to be a fun passion project. And from there, it just was the right idea, I guess, at the right time. And it just took off. And that's way more fun to do with our buddies, for four of us to go together on these adventures and to share those moments. Like whiskey's great, scotch is awesome. It's better with some friends. And so here we are today, I guess.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love that. So, like, how does it work, like, from the business standpoint? Will the distillery reach out to you and be like, "Hey, we've got some product. We want you to take pictures," and then kind of just goes from there? Like, how does it work?
Rob?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when we were first getting started, we really had no connections in the industry. We had nobody to reach out to, and brands didn't know who we were. So we would just go buy a couple bottles of whatever we thought looked interesting on the shelf. Had really not a whole lot of an idea of what we were actually buying, but we would just grab bottles and we would all head out to the mountains on the weekend. We'd leave at 4:30 in the morning to try and catch the good light, the sunrise, take pictures of these bottles, and we would post them. We tagged the accounts, and we were just relentless about tagging the brands, tagging as many people as we could find. And I'm sure they were annoyed as hell about us. But eventually, we started to meet some of the brands, and then eventually built up these contacts. And I think now we're at a point where we have the relationships in the industry, and yeah, they'll there's a good part of them reaching out to us and asking, saying, "Hey, we have this idea for this project. What do you guys think?" And we'll kind of give our creative input on it. But it's a lot of us reaching out to brands too and saying, "Hey, your brand is about XYZ. We think that it'd be really cool to do a project kind of focused in this area that would be really aligned with your brand, and hope they bite on it."
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, the first like kind of inroad that we got off the very beginning was through some of the Canadian brand ambassadors, and just people who were picking up on what we were doing and who reached out to us. And so like back in those early days, like Beth Havers was like massive for us. She was the first person who actually like saw what we were doing and said, like, "We want to support you guys. We want to get on board." She was with William Grant at the time. So Glenfiddich, Balvenie. She ended up sending, it was right when Winter Storm had launched. And so I was trying to get a bottle to shoot because we're in the middle of winter in Alberta. I'm like, this is just like a perfect opportunity. Like, A, I want to try this whiskey. It looks really cool. B, I want to shoot it. And she couldn't get us one actually. So she actually sent us an empty bottle that we shot in a snowstorm. And we ended up getting a bottle eventually, but Beth was like, she really helped us kickstart what we were doing and introduced us to the global teams. And then Jamie Johnson was right there. And then, James Neal has been there, just people that are on the Canadian side of things that are helping to open doors for us. And they really helped us a lot to just give us a voice and some credibility in the industry, which is really huge for us when we first started.
Yes. Yeah, we've talked to all those people as well. They're great people.
Yeah, Beth is awesome. She's
Forever love her.
Yeah, she's been a huge person in the industry for myself as well. So yeah, she's awesome.
So you guys are out of Alberta, which obviously has so many amazing landscapes to take pictures with. But you've also traveled far and wide just by looking at your pictures. Where would you say is like one of the most exciting places you've been to? And is there a place yet that you haven't shot in that you want to shoot in?
Yeah, boy, that's hard to even nail it down. Like we've been very fortunate to have some pretty incredible experience, like pinch yourself moments that were just like like we started out with a bottle of whiskey that we bought and a camera, and now we're standing in a local barley field at Springbank. We're exploring distilleries in Mexico and Kentucky and these places. So like like some pretty cool experiences. But Rob, what would you say has been like one of the coolest experiences that you've had or that we've had together?
Oh man, hard to pick just one. We've been so fortunate. I think probably the first time that we went to Scotland as a team was probably incredible. I think I obviously had an idea about going to Scotland. I was excited about it, but I really had no idea what to expect. And going there was just way more than I would ever have expected. And I think having the opportunity to go to a distillery early on in our journey and in the barrel to bottles journey was really great because it was able to give us an appreciation for the distillery and the whole process. And it,
Yeah.
coming back from Scotland, just had a huge love for whiskey. So I think that trip stands out to me specifically. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, for the first experience, like the fact that we got to do it all together. There's four of us that got to go. We were with Bryce Simpson, local Scotsman who's showing us around his home turf. He's taking us to little local pubs in Glasgow. We're hopping on like a early morning flight to Isla, like after a full night of drinking at the pub with him and his parents and his buddies. Like, uh, like that trip was absolutely like formative for us. Both spending time at Glenmorangie and then heading over to Isla and Ardbeg. And like, again, this is why it's so important, I think, for distilleries and brands to get people to distilleries, because once you're there, the appreciation that you have for what they do, it goes through the roof because you meet the people. Like you actually meet the people that are making the decisions to, what's going in the bottle, and they're working hard to put the liquid that we all appreciate there. And it just takes whatever appreciation you have for brands and for whiskey, and it just really elevates it to the next level. And that first trip, just driving through like the countryside, sipping whiskey together at night, seeing the distillery, meeting the team, like, yeah, that forever will be an absolute highlight for us. Like, I think for the rest of our lives, really.
It's actually really funny you mentioned Bry because the the first week he showed up in Toronto, my wife was pregnant. I showed up at a pop-up shop by fluke. Sat down at the bar. They were pouring. This doesn't happen very often at the LCBO, but they were pouring like one of those bars that you can just like pay very minimal amounts to try different things.
Nice.
And the guy I'm sitting beside is a Scottish dude. Didn't know who he was at the time. He didn't know me. I had just started Whiskey in the Six, maybe a couple of years in.
He probably had a Game Boy.
He's So I was sitting beside this guy. He's looking for a job. He doesn't really know what he's gonna do. He knows he wants to do something in the Scotch industry.
Cool.
Happens to be Bry.
No way.
We hit it off. We're chatting, whatever. Fast forward maybe a few months, and he's the ambassador for Ardbeg and Glenmoe. And
So cool.
yeah, it was
So
a really,
cool.
really cool experience. I love that guy. He's one of my favorite in the industry for sure. He's a really, really cool guy.
Do you know what? He's one of the most genuine people you'll ever meet in your life. Like he is just so true to who he is, and he just cares about everybody that he meets. And yeah, forever. The fact that we got to spend, he's probably ready to kick us out of Scotland by the end of our trip. We spent 12 days straight with him touring the country or something like that. And yeah, man, those memories will just be, yeah, forever. Pretty incredible. We drove all the way from Glenmorangie one night to the Isle of Skye. We went to this one furthest most point on the island to go to see this lighthouse, and we cracked a bottle of Glenmoe. What do you remember what we were pouring that night, Rob? In that windstorm on the Nest Point or Neast Point, something.
Yeah.
It was one of the
Limited editions,
yeah.
barley one.
Yeah, a star was it, or it had just come out, but we drove like the entire day to get to this one spot to go and check it out. To hopefully catch some like nice sunset there and enjoy the experience together. And it was totally overcast and cloudy and like gale force winds. Tried to pour it, and the whiskey literally just blew straight into our faces. and but you know what? It's just one of those experiences. There's sheep everywhere. It was yeah, it was just a very, very cool moment for us. So yeah, that was a highlight for sure. Obviously, we've had the privilege to be to Springbank a couple times as well, and that place is everything that you could imagine it would be. Everything that you probably have heard it's been, and it's even better. Like it is just so spectacular. Such a special place. I think everybody who loves whiskey in any capacity should go there one day, just to Campbelltown, just to go to meet the people and spend some time there, because it is unbelievable.
That's definitely one of the ones I wanted to ask you about, which is why I pulled out some of the spring stuff tonight, because when I followed that trip of yours pretty closely, I was watching, and it's just such a cool thing. Like, I mean, it's one thing when you're representing Canada and you're taking pictures for Canada, different places like brand ambassadors, local, and that sort of thing. But when you get international recognition, I think that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? And for a
Yeah.
company like Springbank to bring you guys in, allow you to take their photos, and then not only like is that going on your account, that's going on their personal Springbank accounts, their website.
Yeah.
I think that's a really cool accomplishment. You guys should pat yourselves on the back for that. That's really, really cool.
I think you think about those, like I said, those pinch yourself moments, like just to be at Springbank, just to be in Campbelltown again is just like it's a mecca for the whiskey fan in the world, and to be there and like to have them trust us to tell their story, to be there to believe in us enough to let us do what we do and to bring us over, like man, that was something that was really really special for us. And Victor from our team, he's come on uh, probably like 4 years ago. He joined Barrel to Bottle, and he's a super talented videographer, photographer, really creative guy. He's from Belgium originally, big whiskey fan, but he'd never been to a distillery before. His first ever experience at a distillery, first ever experience in Scotland was a week at Springbank, and so he's been ruined forever, like absolutely ruined for life, because he's thinking, oh, this is just what it's like. And I'm like, dude, this is this is not normal. This is unbelievable. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
What can you pinpoint about what makes Springbank? Is it like the old school, like less technical way of distilling? Is it the people, the warehouses? Like what is that makes it Springbank different?
Like you try to figure that out. We actually asked them that question. We said, like, what makes Springbank Springbank? Like, what makes you unique? And they're so humble. Like none of them really wave their own flag. They've been awarded consistently. Actually, they've been taken out of competitions now because they continue to win everything.
We've done.
So yeah, like basically World Whiskey Awards, like all these different award shows now have just said, actually, we're just going to take Springbank out. We'll do everybody else. And when you're there, they will never tell you that story. They won't ever like put a banner up on the side of the distillery saying #1 distillery in the world, because they really just want the whiskey to speak for itself. They're humble people, hardworking people. And it's just old school. Like you walk into the distillery, it's like a working museum. Everything's written in chalk on the walls. There's no automation. There's dust everywhere. It's dirty, it's old, and it's just beautiful. I remember walking through the production area one day, and they've got a big vat in the back where they're steeping their barley, and there's a stick over on the side, and it's just like a stick with some Sharpie marks on it. And I'm talking to the guy that's working in the warehouse, and I said, what's this? He's like, this is where we check the yield for the barley, and we're making sure that we've got the right amount, right moisture. And I'm like, and how do you measure it? He's like, with this stick. And I'm like, you guys measure your barley, you measure your yield with a stick. And he's like, aye, but it's a new stick. And I was like, okay, classic Springbank. There's no computers. There's literally dudes, like people just shoveling barley all day long by hand, making the best whiskey in the world. And I would ask the guys in the warehouse, like, tell me about, like, how proud are you that your whiskey is so coveted and loved around the world? And they just shrug their shoulders and they're like, it's cool, but this is just life for us, normal for us. And you go through the town, you think everybody in the town knows like Springbank whiskey and loves it and is a big fan. Like most of the people that live there don't drink the whiskey, which is crazy, right? You're like, oh, do you like? No, I don't even like whiskey. Like, what? This is insane. So I think it's a combination of like the people make it for sure, the humility, how genuine they are, how hospitable they are, the old school methods, the place. Like obviously Campbelltown is just like steeped in whiskey history, and all of those things kind of come together to create something like really, really special. And they just refuse to like automate. They refuse to increase their production past what they can manage. And a big part of that, they said, was really because they don't want to ride the ebbs and the flows of the whiskey industry. They don't want to increase production and have the town rely on them completely and then have a crash and then have people go into recession and lose their jobs. So they're just going to be consistent. They're going to maintain quality, and they're not going to jack the prices up, which is crazy. Like I know it happens right on the secondary market, but they're just going to put it out there and do what they do really well and be consistent with it. And I just so much respect for what they do, who they are, and yeah, such a special place.
It's so crazy to me. I mean, and I say this like because Canadians seem to have this particular thing. And when you're talking to a whiskey fan that's been a whiskey fan for a long time, they have this passion for Springbank. And you can see it in the way you're speaking about it. And you've actually had the opportunity to be there. So I'm sure that's even intensified.
Oh yeah.
But it's just this love for Springbank. And everybody kind of shares it if they love Scotch.
Yeah.
And it's very rare that you'll meet. I've yet to meet someone that doesn't like Springbank that loves Scotch. You know, if they've had the opportunity to try it, you know, it's just one of those. I don't know what it is about the whiskey because there's times where, you know, you'll get a dud, you'll get a Springbank that's not the best, but we have all kinds of time for their mistakes because we know that the next bottle is just going to be incredible. So. You know, once in a while you can make a mistake and you get exonerated.
And like a Springbank dud is like another distillery is like double gold.
Yeah,
you know, we have very high standards for Springbank whiskey. So like when one doesn't come up, it's like it's still great. It's just like not levels that we expect or experienced before.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
The very first person was to mention Springbank as their favorite distillery was Mike and Narby.
Right.
From Malt Reviews.
That's true.
They're the first ones that I've ever heard anyone say Springbank's our favorite distillery. And I was like, huh, really? That's interesting. So I think at that point in time, I hadn't had the Springbank that I've had now.
Yeah, no, we had.
And then obviously we just echoed exactly what they said because whatever they say is gospel.
Well, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Mike and Narby, but they're out of California. Two dudes that literally would drive a $300 car if they can buy a $3,000 whiskey. Like they don't care about anything else. For a long time they didn't. Anyway, now they have families and it's a little different, but
yeah.
You know, Mike literally has a story about driving a $400 car to go pick up like a $5,000 bottle.
That's a story about like applying for a credit card so he could like snap at an auction bottle that he wanted to get.
Yeah.
And just later. Like they own probably like top 10 whiskeys on Whiskey Base.
Yeah.
They probably have 5.
Wow.
They've gone through a bunch of the Samaroli top 100.
Yeah.
And then they've shared with us those like relic, like classic Springbank 1200 proofs.
Yeah.
The 12, right?
Yeah.
But the ones that had like 30-plus-year-old whiskey in them.
Yep.
They've shared samples of that with us.
Wow. That's
really,
awesome.
really cool dudes. Yeah. And they used to wax poetic about Springbank constantly. And we had some Springbank at the time. I'm like, yeah, it's amazing. We love it. But then obviously when you really dive deep, you realize how good it can be.
You do realize how good it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I think when we were there, we were shooting and we were like, you know, pretty much at the distillery every single day, all day long. And they give us just basically open access, like go wherever you need, do whatever you want to do, talk to whoever, you know. And we'd shoot all day long and like obviously just such a cool experience to be there. But then end of the day, everything in Campbelltown shuts down super early. So we're like starving at the end of the day. We're like, okay, we got to get some food. And they're like, oh no, we'll take care of you. And we get back to our little Airbnb right on Campbelltown Lock, which was beautiful. They had supplied like 4 or 5 bottles just there on the bar for us that we could just, you know, help ourselves to, which was pretty cool. And then we hear a knock at the door and like one of the family members from the distillery would roll up with a home cooked meal and deliver it to us at our little spot. And like, it was just cool, man. Like, it's just so like down to earth and like homey and like, I don't know, just such a cool spot. And we got to go on tour the fields, like the local barley fields. Like Paul McCartney actually owns one of those fields. And so we're standing in Paul McCartney's field, cracking the latest Springbank local barley. Like we're shooting it, but I'm like, we're drinking, and we're like, what? This is insane. What is this? It was so cool. So anyways, big fans. Anybody that says, I mean, obviously everybody's got their personal preferences, and I have heard people say like, you know, they think it's overhyped. They're like, you know, whatever. And like, I think it's almost become like kind of trendy to like maybe take a little shot because that gets some clicks or something. But I'm like, if you're really just being honest, it's just fantastic whiskey and great people. And people are mad because they can't get it. And I understand that. But I also think there's a reason for that. So
I always like to make the comparison. I don't know if you guys have watched Happy Gilmore, the first Happy Gilmore.
Oh
So
yeah.
he's breaking up with that girl, or she's breaking up with him. Like, happy you're never gonna grow up. And then like he'll go on these like rants, and then and then he'll be like, "I'm sorry, baby. I just get so scared sometimes."
I am not spending the rest of my life with a loser. I'm gone.
Good, then get the hell out of my life. Who needs you? Beat it. Leave me alone.
I'm sorry, babe. I didn't mean that either. I just yell sometimes because I get so scared.
It's like that's like the classic relationship for people with Springbank.
Yeah.
They're yelling like when people are listening, they're yelling and they're mad at it and it's the worst. And then all of a sudden they turn and they apologize to it and they're kissing it goodnight.
Why don't you just come back upstairs, honey? I'll give you the old smoochy smoot kissy wissy.
So that's kind of how I feel
funny.
about those people that are really like hard on Springbank, because they're only hard on it because like you said, they can't get it.
Yeah. I mean, Rob had a really cool experience because he got to go to Signet Week at Glenmorangie a few years ago, and that sounded like a very cool experience.
Yeah, tell us about that. How is that? You're talking about the special edition Signet release?
Yeah, and it was an incredible experience. We got to stay in the Glenmorangie house, kind of in their barley field. Incredible Michelin star, little hotel. It was amazing. We got to go to the distillery, and they shut down the distillery for a week to do just the coffee malt roasting because it's so hard on the whole system, right? It really gums everything up. So it's apparently the distillery managers and all the workers just absolutely hate it because it's a nightmare for them. But you walk into the distillery, and I mean, you guys know what a distillery smells like, and this was completely different. It was like truly just like coffee and chocolate smell in the whole distillery. It was amazing. And then we were with some of the LVMH team, and so they let us crack into the still safe like as it was going, and just kind of like get our hands in there and get a little sip, and it was just cool. That was amazing. It was I always remember that.
That's really cool. So that special release, did they disclose any information with you as to like how old the stuff is? Is there a reason why it's different in price than the regular like standard Signet release? Or
so you're talking about the new Reserve that just came out? That's what you're talking about?
Was that not okay? Was that not
talking
about?
I think
No,
Rob, you were at the regular
This
Signet.
was just the standard Signet. Yeah.
I saw that Reserve on the shelf in Calgary this week, and I think the original Signet was like $300 maybe now, and the Reserve, I think the Reserve is like 6 something, but I don't really know. I don't know enough about it yet. I love Signet. I think Signet's fantastic, but I'm not sure about the Reserve.
Have we reviewed a Signet?
I have
like a long time ago. I want to say second year that I was doing Whiskey in the Six. I don't know if I actually revisited it since, and I really feel like I should because it's been too long.
I love it though. Yeah, it is hard to find. Yeah. You got to hang out with like Dr. Bill. Like he was there as part of that experience too, right?
Is he really like Willy Wonka? Is that a real thing?
Oh, dude, to a T. And he's just he's so fun to be around, and he's a hard guy for some people, I think, because he's always making incredibly dry jokes, and oftentimes they're very off-colored. But if you appreciate that and you know that everything he's saying is just a joke, it's really, really funny. But a lot of people don't know when he's joking, and he'll say stuff that's truly quite offside but hilarious. And I think a lot of people like get a little uncomfortable, but he's so funny. And he's on
Instagram as of this week.
I think
is he really?
Yeah.
Share his contact. I want to follow him.
Give him a follow.
So I think it's Dr. Bill. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I wonder if it's actually him running it or what. But it's pretty cool to see him on there. Anyways,
I don't think that guy. I don't think he's getting into social media.
They're probably keeping his phone far away from him. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think they want his publicly voiced jokes. But he knows more about whiskey than anybody I've ever met. It was really cool to listen to him and just learn from him. Just soak up everything he had to say about whiskey.
That's awesome.
You guys have obviously shot like a lot of cool bottles. I remember seeing the Bowmore Aston Martin, the really cool kind of like wavy glass looking one.
Mhm.
Was there any bottles that like you weren't allowed to touch, or did you need to wear white gloves, or like what is the most expensive bottle that you've shot so far?
Yeah, so we shot the Arc 52, the Bowmer Arc 52.
Right.
So that was pretty wild. Obviously, I think the decanter alone is like $25,000 or something like that. So, and it's tricky, like the it's like a chrome top and a chrome finish on it, and then like just a ton of really unique angles and stuff. So you can't like literally you have to wear gloves because otherwise it's going to be just fingerprints everywhere. It's such a beautiful bottle. We took that downtown Calgary. We're walking around with it, shooting that on the street, which is pretty wild. The Gordon MacPhail 80-year-old generations we had, they shipped. I think it was a dummy bottle, but it had the decanter here in my house. And my son at the time was like probably like 4 or 5 years old. It came in that like really unique case where there's like a slide up wooden case on it, and it was kind of neat. I came into my office and he's got his like Hot Wheels car and he's running all over the box, and I'm like, "No, dude, don't touch that! You're not allowed to touch that. Do not do that." That was a pretty cool. That was a pretty cool bottle. Like every once in a while, we'll shoot like certain like special releases like that where it's like, "Okay, we're gonna send it to you. We're gonna hand deliver it, and then you're gonna send it back." And every once in a while, you're kind of like very nervous to have that in your possession or something, right? But yeah, those are pretty cool.
That Hot Wheels close up on that bottle would have been pretty cool shot though. You kind of missed a moment there, I think.
Yeah, I don't want to get into the whole kids' toys thing. We know how that goes sometimes, I think, but yeah, it's funny.
I was thinking of that the other day because there was that guy, and I can't remember his name for the life of me, but he used to do the Storm
Scotch Trooper.
Scotch
Trooper. Yeah.
Yeah.
The legend.
Wait.
Did he pass away?
I thought
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He passed away like probably 6 or 7 years. But he was like an innovator in the industry. Like he really did something brand new. And the relationships that he built in the inroads, like yeah, he had a hard go at the end there because he got into a bit of challenges legally with some of the toys and stuff.
Yeah.
With the but yeah, he did some really cool stuff, like really unique, things nobody else was doing.
Yeah.
Very creative.
His pictures are great. They were really
cool. All of the Marvel characters and really cool.
Yeah,
shout out to Scotch Trooper. Yeah.
Cheers to him.
Pour one out.
Yeah. So I saw recently you guys posted the 10-year-old Pheno. Am I wrong in saying the Pheno? Was it the Pheno, or maybe it wasn't the Pheno yet? Maybe it was
not the Pheno yet.
Apollo Cortado, maybe you had posted.
Yeah, I think it was the PC. Yeah. The newest one's coming out here soon.
Yeah, and I would think the new year probably, right?
The Pheno is the one I was the most excited about. I think
that's the one that's coming out next.
That's
is
next
it not?
up. I think so.
Or did they bottle it already? This one was bottled
last year.
Yeah, September 2024. So this was the Amontillado. This honestly, so far, I gotta say, consistency wise, this is my favorite one.
Was it?
Yeah. It's just it doesn't drink like it's 10 years old.
Yeah.
It drinks older, and very, very ironed out edges. There's really no heat to it.
Right.
55%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, maybe, I don't know. The PC people had opinions about it wasn't their favorite. We were unlucky. We only had to try it in samples because the bottle that I purchased broke.
Yes.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. Oh, that's a rough one. So we've broken a few bottles over the years. I think probably, what was the one that you broke when you were shooting, Rob?
It was
Fort Askeg?
Stitchell Reserve.
Yes.
No, yeah, Stitchell Reserve.
Yeah. We dropped a cut. Like, I mean, we were out in the Rockies. We're hiking with bottles all the time. We're like, I think we've broken like 2 or 3. I did break a full bottle of what was that in the elevator? Fire and Cane. We're at the Victoria Whiskey Festival, and we're in the elevator. going down, like there's, people everywhere. The elevators already smell like whiskey, so it wasn't that bad. But definitely dropped a full bottle of Fire and Cane when it first came out in the elevator, and like I'm just standing there like I don't know what to do. And people got in. I'm like, oh man, it smells like a whiskey fest. Yeah, it was not. It wasn't the best moment. It was pretty good.
the, the best smelling elevator
Yeah, I mean, just
ever.
ride that all night.
We were shooting the Macallan Edition series when it first came out, and we had some of the first bottles I think in the world, like that they had sent to us to shoot their production images for them, and we had taken one. We had one bottle of Edition 4, I believe, and we're out in the Rockies, and like we've been driving around all day, and we get to our location where we're about to shoot. We open up the back of the car, and it rolls out like. And this had been like, it was under embargo. Nobody knew about it. Hard to get it, and it was gonna fall, and I put my foot out, and it landed on my toe. Didn't break, but definitely like it's like very close. It was like, oh man, that would have been bad news. Yeah.
The foot save, that's a classic.
Foot save, yes.
Every once in a while, I have to pull out the foot save. It works.
I've seen like a baby foot save before.
Foot save.
Yeah, foot save on the baby. Yeah.
How did you break your Sherry series?
So
he didn't break it.
It was shipped to me, and it arrived broken. Literally, it was packed so tight that it was still kind of held together, but you could tell something was up because it was a little moist.
Yeah.
As I unraveled it, the whole like top part just kind of was.
No.
Yeah.
What did they do for you?
So the problem is I had a friend. He went to go pick it up at a store, and he packed it up and he shipped it out. So there's really nothing like anybody could do. Like I'm not gonna.
Yeah. It wasn't from.
It's a buddy, so you can't really.
Yeah.
So it at first I didn't realize that was what happened. I thought he had the store ship it out, so it was a little bit. I was a little on edge, but then when I found out there was nothing anybody could do. I know
First phone call was the worst one.
Yeah.
The first phone call.
Yeah,
was
it got a little ugly first, but then.
Was there anything salvageable? Like, were you like?
Yeah, Jeremy did drink some of it. I was too cheap to do it.
Rob, there could be like glass particles in here, but
worth it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought.
I actually,
I wouldn't.
I filtered the crap out of that. Like I got coffee filters.
Yeah.
I think I might have even changed the color of it.
I think you deteriorated. You filtered it.
I almost chill filtered.
You almost chill filtered.
It was not quite. It was air conditioned filtered.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too bad.
It changed the taste a bit, but
it did. Yeah,
you still got to try it. Well, I did.
Yeah, I think I let it touch my lips.
That's a gateway drug right there.
If you guys could go to one distillery other than Springbank, where do you want to try and get to?
Oh,
that's a great question. I'll let you take that one.
Yeah, I think for me, I would go probably to the Isle of Skye just because I've heard such like cool stuff about how beautiful it is up there.
Mm-hmm.
Or I guess you go to Isla and go to like I don't know, probably Bunnahabhain.
Yeah, I think for me the only reason I would love to go to Isla, so I would make sure that happens that exact same trip. But
yeah, I
have to go to Glenallachie just because like Billy Walker is a big reason why I got into Scotch. Like his Glendronach's like back in the day, and then we had a chance to interview him not that long on the Whisky Rant, and that was really cool. And just everything he's done in his career. Now the Miko Tour series is, I think, so I would have to go to Glenallachie, I think.
Yeah,
it's cool. I got a chance to go there pretty soon after they'd opened, and it's a special distillery. It's beautiful, and they at the time I think it was a little different than what it is now, because in the warehouse, whoever was working that day, he was pretty generous, and I was there with some of my family, and they were just kind of getting into whiskey, so it was kind of a first foray for them, and This guy was such a beauty. He was just pulling out whatever casks were laying around. He was just pouring us like full Glencairns of it. So
Wow.
there was like 1989 sherry cask stuff that was just like, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's fine. Like just whatever you guys want." And it was just like a whole morning of that. I've never been so unable to drive when I left a distillery. It was crazy. That
That's
was a good time.
That's awesome.
I would assume
That's
that, like,
cool.
driving under the influence is probably a regular thing in Scotland. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's
They're very hard about it.
are
Yeah,
they?
like a zero.
I
Zero
have heard
tolerance.
Roy from like Aquavite Roy. He does mention it every once in a while, but like don't drink and drive and that sort of thing. But like, I mean,
They do a cool thing at all the distilleries because they'll give you driver drams. So they'll give you little sample bottles for anybody. So if you go with 2 or 3 people and the 2 people want to drink. So like when we were with Bry, like I was driving that trip. And so we would go to the distilleries, we'd, tour these different places. And like, obviously distilleries in the middle of somewhere, like, nowhere, you got to get back to your hotel or wherever. So they would just bottle everything up, which is actually like a pretty cool way to do it because then you get a little bit more like, a bit more room to actually sit down and think about what you're drinking, enjoy it. And, obviously drinking in a warehouse is pretty cool, but, bring a little bit home with you and get to relive that experience again too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. I think all distilleries should do that. That's actually a great idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is nice. I mean, that was one of the best things about when we tried the 80th, right?
Yeah.
Is that we got to bring some home and try it again in a different environment where it's different. You can take more time and, we hadn't had, 6 cocktails, 2 bottles of wine, champagne, and whatever other amazing whiskeys they had poured for us before. So yeah, it is cool to try that again.
Yeah, that was a special night because again, like we had this incredible meal, a whole bunch of like really, really good wine and cocktails. And I think they were mixing cocktails with 30-year-old Gordon McPhail.
Yeah, I think the first cocktail was like 27-year-old something. Or other. It was like Old
Park or something. Yeah, Old Polney. Yeah,
like a 27-year-old Old Polney in a cocktail.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cool.
Underrated whiskey though, Old Polney.
Oh, 100%. Honestly, it's gonna make some appearances this year in my top 6 because I revisited a bunch of it this year and I'm back in love. Like I don't know how I forgot about it.
It's so good. Like it's off the radar, like, and they don't really do much for marketing at all. But man, it's good. I found a bottle of the 17 on a shelf recently, instant buy. Like that is such a classic whiskey. I prefer it like over the current lineup, obviously, but yeah, it's fantastic. It's great, and it's fairly priced. And if you're looking for a good coastal dram, like that's probably a go-to for us, anyways.
I just cracked one myself, actually.
Oh, yeah, 17.
Yeah, I made a little road trip out to the East Coast. I went to Cape Breton, which is kind of like a piece of Scotland.
Awesome. Yeah.
In Cape Breton?
I haven't.
Okay, so it's super nice out there, and yeah, cracked a bottle of Old 17. It just seemed like it fit.
Cool.
From the look of it, it's very Scotland-esque.
Yeah.
Retrace like geography in Pangea time. It kind of broke off and like traveled over here. Right?
Yeah. From Scotland, maybe.
Yeah.
Sense.
Yeah. What's a whiskey you guys have had lately that surprised you? Like that you didn't have, like you weren't going into with real high expectations, and you drank and you're like, wow, that's actually pretty awesome.
I mean, we've been drinking
think of anything?
So much Canadian whiskey recently.
Yeah. Okay.
We've been blind tasting a bunch of Canadian stuff.
So we're doing this thing called the Canadian Whiskey Rant tournament, and we did 4 categories. We did rye category, a single malt category, a peated category, and a classic all grain category. Basically, like that's where you're gonna find your CCs and your Crown Royals and whatever like oat whiskeys that Canada has and that sort of thing, right? So, as Jeremy was saying, we've had an opportunity to try a whole.
Sons of Vancouver have done super well.
Oh yeah,
very
phenomenal.
With
So I don't want to give away too much, but there's some Alberta distilleries that did really, really well in the single malt,
Cool.
really well.
And Black Fox, is it?
Black
Yep.
Fox from
Saskatoon.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's gonna be probably one of the most underrated Canadian things right now because like
Mm.
did really well, awesome stuff,
Yeah.
and we had like I personally haven't heard about them until we tried it.
Yep.
And I don't think too many people talk about them.
Yeah.
I think it's really funny. I don't know if you guys get like this as Canadians, but like obviously you see people in the States, especially like talk about Canadian whiskey, and it's never very positive at all. But like you guys know whiskey. Like we like are know quite a bit about whiskey. We've had some pretty incredible experiences. There's some great Canadian whiskey out there, but like people just don't even, especially in the States, like there's always the running meme about how bad Canadian whiskey is, but it's like I don't think people actually try to give it a chance because there is some really spectacular options on the shelves,
Yeah, I think, I mean, I read a meme somewhere that we keep the good stuff for ourselves, and there's a little bit of truth to it, right? Like, we send them our Diageo products, and so they get our Crown Royal, and I spoke to one about CC. There's some really good options from CC, but we send them stuff, and and then Whistle Pig buys a whole bunch for the premium, but yeah, we have some distilleries, I personally think, coming out of Alberta and BC that in 10, 15 years are going to be held in the same light as like a bunch of Scottish distilleries.
It's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys see. We've been to quite a few of the distilleries here in Alberta. Like met them, we see where their grain's coming from, we see the production methods, we get to talk to them about their method behind their madness, and it's just really cool. Especially when you have a chance to go to Scotland, you see it there, and then you come back and you see it on a smaller scale. Like same kind of passion, same kind of like care. They say in Alberta, I've talked to a bunch of farmers and distillers here, and they say that there's actually barley that gets shipped to Scotland for whiskey production from the prairies of Alberta because it's so good.
I didn't know.
And there's some some of the best grains in the world that are coming out here in Canada, and make a great whiskey. You need great ingredients, and that's kind of the starting point. You have glacier-fed mountain lakes, mountain water. You've got incredible barley. Like you've got a winning recipe if you've got somebody who knows how to kind of put it all together, right?
Yeah, one of our favorite Canadian distilleries is Two Brewers, and I'm pretty sure they're using Alberta barley. Other than their peated stuff, I think the rest of it's Alberta barley. I know that local distilleries in Ontario, a bunch of them are using Alberta barley. So I mean, Alberta.
I mean, even Vancouver is using Alberta barley.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And
that's cool.
Anyway,
yeah,
but so the single malt category comes out like before this is going to air, obviously, but when is that? Probably Friday, maybe?
It'll be,
so Friday. Today's Wednesday,
right?
And then this will come out next week.
Yeah.
So
cool.
It's like whenever we're filming these, it's a little bit of like a time machine. Like we're not really out first. So, but not to give away too much, but you guys should be really proud of what's coming out of Alberta because there's two particular distilleries that I could think of that people are going to want to keep their eye on for sure in the next little while.
That's very cool. Yeah, I'm excited to hear what you guys come up with.
Yeah. So, you guys started this, what, like 8 years ago, you said? 9 years ago? Ish?
What was it, Rob? Like how long? I think it's like 7, 8 years.
Yeah, between 7 and 8, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really have a hard start date.
Yeah. I'm trying to think about when that first meeting was, like when we all sat down and said, hey, like I think we're gonna try this. Like it was kind of like a bit like hard to explain, like here's what we're thinking we're gonna do. But both like Rob and Brad, who were right there from the very beginning, were just super keen. Like they had both just sort of started with photography. They had been kind of picking up a passion, and we'd been going out taking photos of like the Rockies and like different things, around Alberta. and said, well, while we're out here, we might as well bring some whiskey. And both of them were super keen to kind of jump on board. And it was pretty wild because like yeah, like Rob said at the beginning, like we were nobody. We had like 4 followers, and they were all our family members. And like nobody's sending us bottles of whiskey. We're just buying stuff that we like and like things that are cool. So and from there we said, like, I think my goal in the first year was to let's build this enough that we get to go to Scotland. That was my goal from the very beginning. And they're like, "You think that's possible?" I'm like, "I think so. Let's do it. Like, let's work hard." And so when we finally made it over, that was just that, like, kind of like it wasn't in the first year that we got there, but it was that kind of moment of like, wow, this is actually happening. This is pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's kind of the same line I use on my wife. Is there was no real like hard start date. Whenever I forget the anniversary, as we're kind of just doing it out for a while.
Right, it's around this time.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was the fall. I think it was like right around this time, probably like 7 years ago in September, that was the first McAllen in the Rockies kind of moment. So yeah, we look back at those photos. It's kind of the inception point.
And would you say that that's probably like the first trip to Scotland was your most memorable, or do you have another like most memorable moment that you're like, wow, like we made it, like in our industry and in what we've achieved and what we were like hoping to achieve, we made it. What was that? What was that moment for you? Was that first trip to Scotland, or was there another one?
The first trip. I remember one particular moment. We're on the pier at Ardbeg, standing there on Isla together as a team. We've got Bry there with us. We're pouring like some really pretty incredible, Ardbeg whiskeys. Standing there, the distillery had closed down, like it was done for the day. We're there by ourselves. We're staying right on site, and just kind of thinking about it, looking at our experience and where we were, just being like this is like the kind of dream that whiskey people would have their entire life, like a bucket list to one day get to be, just to get to Isla. And we're here like so early in our journey, and just being like, man, that was pretty awesome. And then Rob jumped into the sea, and they put up a fence after that. Yeah, it was no longer safe. I think they figured that if people come and drink a bunch of whiskey and jump in the ocean, it might not be that safe. So after our trip, they put up a fence around the pier so people couldn't do it anymore. So that's our claim to fame at Ardbeg.
That's awesome.
Like, aren't they known for like really crazy riptides and like really crazy like?
Yeah, we weren't thinking real logically at that point of the trip, probably. Yeah. I think you were fine. It was cold, but it was all right, eh?
I mean, it could have been that bad. You made me do it again because you didn't get the shot. So.
True.
That's awesome. Okay, well, let everybody know where they can find you guys, because if they know about us, they probably know about you guys as well. Different platforms, but at the same time, Instagram is probably the biggest platform right now. So I would say they probably know you guys, but please share where they can find you, and if there's another endeavor on the way, share that as well.
Yeah, I mean, the best place, just come say hi. From Barrel to Bottle on Instagram. That's kind of where we hang out. It's a bit of a tongue twister, the name. Every time we're at whiskey festivals, especially closer to the end of the night, we'll have some people will kind of stumble over and like, you guys are the Bottle Barrel boys, hey? Yeah, close enough. Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, from Barrel to Bottle, that's kind of where we hang out most of the time.
Awesome. Anything new on the horizon coming that you're allowed to share, or you got to kind of keep those kind of things under your hat?
We just had a cool project with Douglas Lang, which was awesome, for Scallywag whiskey, which will be coming out pretty quick here. It's kind of like a brand campaign for them that they let us just, put our own creative spin on all through the Rockies. And so we were working real hard on that, which was a lot of fun. And some new Springbank stuff coming out here pretty quick too. It'd be pretty cool. So yeah, a few new things in the works. So be rolling those out in the next few weeks or months as we get going here, and yeah, it's excited to share with them.
Awesome,
nice. And we'll link to their Instagram in the description down below.
Absolutely.
And yeah,
we have a YouTube channel. I think we've got about 8 followers. We don't post very often on there, but every once in a while we'll share some of like the longer form content that we've created. Like we did a really like I'm really proud of the work that we did at Toreveg on the Iowa Sky. So we shot a big campaign for them over there. We get to spend like 5 days on the island with them, and it was more like Instagram is like such short form, short lived content. It's just quick shots that, just live for a very short amount of time. So we post some of our longer stuff on our YouTube just to kind of showcase some of the things we've been doing. So I check that out too. But yeah, appreciate you guys having us on and just getting to chat and hang out. I wish we could do it in person. Pour some nice whiskeys for each other and have a good chat. But I'm sure that'll happen someday soon.
It's gonna happen. We're gonna organize that Canadian content tour.
There we go, man.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll hit the YouTube side and the Instagram side. Best of both worlds.
Exactly.
Love that.
And we'll do some live podcasting in person as well.
Beauty. Looking forward to that.
On the top of a mountain in Alberta.
That's it.
Yeah.
Really grateful to have you guys on. Like I said earlier, it's been a long time coming. Wanted to do this for a long time. It's just you know how it works when busy schedules and this and that. Hopefully, if we're still alive after this Canadian Whiskey Rant tournament, because it's taken a little bit of our life with all the bottles. I think the average out of the 4 categories, we've had one small group, and then the rest are like 18 bottles
18
each.
bottles, yeah. Blind.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
I think I probably took off at least 10 years of my life doing this tournament.
Or did you add 10 years?
Or I may have added. We'll see what happens. But
That's
again,
awesome.
really grateful to have you guys on.
Yeah.
Thanks again for having us.
Yes, really much appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
All right, that's going to do it all for us. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a good one. Cheers.
Cheers.